The air in the grand conclave of Xylos hung heavy, a shimmering haze of charged particles that intensified with every ripple of anxiety emanating from the assembled delegates. It was not the usual thermal byproduct of their collective metabolisms, but an atmospheric manifestation of profound unease, a fear that seeped into the very crystalline structures of the chamber. The luminous, multifaceted facets of the conclave dome reflected an infinite fractured image of the central dais, where the speaker of the Zalosian hegemony, Elder Cathar, sat motionless. His four primary ocular stalks, typically of vibrant iridescent blue, were dulled, almost black, betraying the immense internal pressure he endured. Around him, the representatives of the coalition of sentient worlds, the Virel, the Cygnan Enclave, the Drakash Dominion, and a dozen lesser species, shifted in their designated alcoves, their biological or technological systems emitting low, fretful hums. Their collective gazes in their myriad forms were fixed not on Cathar, but on the holographic projection hovering above the dais. A single, stark image of a vessel, rendered with chilling precision from the deep space telemetry acquired at the edge of the uncharted veil. It was human, and it defied all known classifications. "We have examined the data streams for cycles," Elder Cathar's voice finally resonated, a deep, resonant thrum that seemed to vibrate through the very bones of the Zalosian chamber. "Our analytical engines have parsed every energy signature, every structural anomaly, every behavioral pattern recorded from its initial emergence from the veil. Our strategic projections, they yield no satisfactory answer. This vessel is an anomaly within an anomaly. The species that fields it, the humans, as they call themselves, remain an enigma, their intentions opaque, their capabilities undefined by any rational metric we possess." A tendril of shimmering purple light, the communication offer of the Virel delegate, Ambassador Vellner, pulsed with agitation. "Elder Cathar, with respect, the undefined is precisely what concerns the Virel. We have observed their initial probes, their exploratory craft, compact, efficient, but within the expected parameters of emerging species. But this Leviathan is an entirely different category. Its energy signature alone suggests a power generation capability far beyond what we attributed to them. Its scale, its sheer mass, it rivals the capital ships of the Drakash Dominion, yet it appears to be a solitary vanguard, not part of a fleet formation." From a shadowy recess, the metallic rasp of the Drakash ambassador, K. Arthak, sliced through the growing tension. "A solitary vanguard, Ambassador Vellner, or a deliberate feint? The Drakash do not underestimate the cunning of the unknown. We have faced formidable adversaries. We have adapted. But the data from this human vessel, the readings of its armor plating, its projected weapon emplacements, they do not conform to logical defensive or offensive design principles, it seems. Over-engineered, excessively potent. For what purpose would a species dedicate such resources to a single, solitary instrument of war, if not to convey a message of overwhelming, unquestionable might?" The observation brought a fresh wave of murmurs through the conclave. The holographic projection of the human vessel pulsed slightly, as if mirroring their collective anxiety. It was sleek, dark, and utterly devoid of the complex, often decorative external architecture that marked the ships of the coalition. Its lines were clean, almost predatory in their simplicity, culminating in a colossal, forward-facing primary cannon that seemed to drink in the ambient light. There were no discernible launch bays for smaller craft, no obvious point defense turrets visible in the initial scans. It was a single monolithic weapon, seemingly designed for one purpose: utter domination. Elder Cathar extended a delicate, four-fingered hand towards the projection. "The Cygnan Enclave, through their deep space observation platforms, has provided the most detailed spectral analysis of its material composition. Ambassador Xylos, report your findings." A soft, melodic chime preceded the Cygnan ambassador's response. Xylos, a being of pure, coherent light contained within a shimmering energy field, projected a series of intricate geometric patterns into the conclave's space. "The hull integrity, Elder Cathar, is extraordinary. We detected layered composites previously unknown to our material sciences. The energy absorption properties are near absolute within certain frequency bands, rendering many of our long-range targeting systems ineffective. The internal structural integrity fields are sustained by a power source that registers as a localized singularity containment, a technology we ourselves have only theorized within highly restrictive theoretical parameters. It appears to possess a self. repair capability that actively reforges damaged sections, with a rapidity that defies conventional engineering. The chamber fell into an almost complete silence, punctuated only by the soft, rhythmic hum of life support systems. A localized singularity containment. The words reverberated with chilling implications. Such technology was considered a galactic-level achievement, accessible only to species that had traversed millennia of technological evolution. For an emergent species, barely a few cycles removed from primitive stellar travel, to possess such mastery, it was incomprehensible. And its weapons, Ambassador Xylos. K. Arthak's voice was sharper now, laced with a predatory edge. What of its primary armament, the single, colossal cannon that dominates its forward aspect? Xylos's light field flickered slightly, a rare sign of distress from the typically stoic Signin. The energy readings from the primary weapon are unstable, variable. Our sensors detect the potential for directed energy discharges of an unparalleled magnitude, capable of vaporizing an asteroid field or piercing the shields of a Drakash dreadnought in a single volley. Yet we also detect a more subtle, localized field projection capability, suggestive of precision strikes or even non-lethal deterrence. The weapon seems capable of a spectrum of outputs, from utter annihilation to precise, contained force application. It is the ambiguity, the sheer breadth of its potential, that adds to our apprehension. Elder Cathar nodded slowly, his ocular stalks still dimmed. Precisely. The ultimate human warship, as some of our junior analysts have designated it, is not merely a vessel of immense power. It is a declaration. But of what? Aggression? Deterrence? Or something else entirely, something beyond our current understanding of interspecies interaction? He paused, his gaze sweeping over the anxious faces of the delegates. We dispatched a diplomatic envoy, a single unarmed scout vessel, towards its last known trajectory. Their communications went silent 6 cycles ago. No distress signal, no wreckage, just silence. This has amplified our fears. A delegate from the smaller, more trepidatious species, the Lumina Collective, projected a series of frantic, spiraling light patterns. Elder Cathar, the Lumina plead for a definitive course of action. Do we prepare our defenses? Mobilize our fleets? This human vessel, it is a harbinger of untold destruction, or perhaps an irresistible force. To simply observe is to court annihilation. K. Arthak bristled. The Drakash do not fear a fight. If these humans seek to impose their will, they will find the full might of the Dominion arrayed against them. Our fleets are already on high alert. Our strategic outposts are fortified. Let them come. We will ascertain their intentions through force, if necessary. And risk inciting an uncontainable conflict, Velner countered, his tendril pulsing furiously. We know nothing of their home system, their strategic reserves, their true military capacity. To provoke such a powerful unknown entity could doom us all. The Virel counsel extreme caution. Perhaps their envoy was merely lost, or encountered an unforeseen localized anomaly. We must not project our own aggressive tendencies onto a species we barely comprehend. The debate raged, a cacophony of fear, aggression, and philosophical introspection. Each species viewing the projection of the human warship through the lens of its own history, its own fears, its own unique strategic imperatives. For the Drakash, it was a challenge, a test of their martial prowess. For the Virel, a potential cataclysm to be averted through diplomacy. For the Signins, a fascinating, terrifying technological marvel. But for all of them, it represented an existential uncertainty. Elder Cathar allowed the storm of debate to subside before he spoke again, his voice now imbued with a quiet authority that silenced the chamber. We must recognize our limitations. Our knowledge of the humans is rudimentary. We base our projections on the scant data we have. We see a vessel of immense destructive potential and we project a destructive intent. Is that truly logical, or is it a reflection of our own species, history, our own predispositions towards conflict? He paused, letting the silence deepen. We possess one additional piece of data. Before the Lumina envoy's communications ceased, they managed to transmit a single encrypted burst. Our decryption algorithms have only now managed to render a partial translation. It is a message from the humans. A new wave of unease rippled through the conclave. A message. What message could such a vessel convey? A demand for surrender, a declaration of war. The holographic projection of the human vessel shifted, and beside it, a series of geometric symbols began to coalesce, slowly forming into an approximation of known coalition linguistic characters. Elder Cathar's ocular stalks finally brightened, betraying a flicker of an emotion close to hope, but also profound apprehension. The message, as deciphered, is brief, Cathar began, his voice taking on a strangely flat tone, as if reading from a sacred text. It states, "We observe, we learn, we do not seek conflict. Our vessel is named Patience. Its purpose is protection. Its ultimate capability is restraint." A collective gasp swept through the chamber. Patience. A vessel of such terrifying power named Patience, and its ultimate capability, restraint. It flew in the face of all their assumptions, all their fears. It was a paradox, a riddle etched in the void. Arthak's metallic rasp was heavy with suspicion. Restraint. What manner of trickery is this? A weapon of such magnitude, bearing such a name? It is a psychological stratagem. They seek to disarm us with deceptive words while poised to strike. Or, Vellner countered, his tendril now radiating a calmer, contemplative luminescence, it is precisely what they claim. Perhaps their understanding of power, of its deployment, differs fundamentally from our own. Perhaps restraint for them is not a weakness, but a conscious, deliberate choice, an expression of true strength. Elder Cathar looked from the holographic ship to the deciphered message. This is the crux of our dilemma, delegates. Do we assume hostility based on an observed capacity for destruction, or do we credit the words they transmit? To assume the former risks an unprovoked escalation. To assume the latter risks being blindsided by an unknown threat. But the name, Patience, it speaks to a different philosophy, one we must endeavor to comprehend, however alien it may seem. The silence that followed was different now, infused not just with fear, but with a burgeoning sense of profound, almost philosophical confusion. The ultimate human warship, a moniker born of terror and speculation, now stood revealed as something far more complex, a testament to a species whose understanding of conflict, power, and perhaps even peace was yet to be unveiled. The true nature of humanity remained obscured, a mystery woven into the fabric of their colossal, silently waiting ship. Weeks bled into cycles, and the tension within the coalition remained a palpable presence, yet it had subtly transformed. The initial, raw panic had given way to a cautious, almost obsessive observation. The Patience, the human vessel, remained at the edge of the uncharted veil, a silent sentinel. It had not advanced, it had not fired, it had not even initiated further communication. Its stillness in itself was a form of communication, a testament to the enigmatic quality of its species. The Coalition's vast sensor networks, normally capable of tracking even the smallest debris in the void, strained to penetrate the Patience's advanced cloaking and energy-dampening fields. The localized singularity containment shimmered faintly, a tantalizing whisper of power barely contained. Elder Cathar had convened a smaller, more focused council within the Zalosian High Senate, eschewing the grandiosity of the conclave for a more intimate, yet no less formal setting. Present were Vellner, Arthak, Xylos, and the chief intelligence analyst of the Zalosian hegemony, a brilliant but cautious strategist named Vorlek. The holographic projection of the Patience still dominated the center of the chamber, but now it was overlaid with layers of new data, intricate energy readouts, and simulated projections of its internal architecture, painstakingly pieced together from residual thermal emanations and gravitational distortions. Our analysis of their behavior patterns remains inconclusive, Vorlek stated, his multi-jointed manipulators gesturing over the projection. They maintain a precisely stable orbit, no internal crew movements detectable, no weapon systems have cycled, not even in test firing, no sublight maneuvers, they are simply waiting. This sustained inactivity for a species possessing such advanced technology is perplexing. It suggests either extreme patience, as their vessel's name implies, or a profound state of alert, maintaining maximum energy reserves for an unknown contingency. Arthak's metallic voice rumbled. Or they are merely studying us, Vorlek, learning our patterns, our weaknesses. The Drakash do not believe in patience when confronted with such an existential threat. We believe in decisive action. The longer we hesitate, the more opportunity they have to gather intelligence to formulate their assault. And the more opportunity we have to understand them, Arthak, Vellner countered, his tendril vibrating with a nuanced counterargument. The Virel believe this period of observation is crucial. We must dissect every nuance of their presence. Their initial message, we observe, we learn, we do not seek conflict. Our vessel is named Patience. Its purpose is protection. Its ultimate capability is restraint. These words are not mere semantic flourishes. They are a statement of their foundational philosophy, however alien it may seem. Xylos, ever the pragmatic observer, projected a series of complex energy flow diagrams. The Patience maintains an incredibly efficient energy profile. The Singularity Containment Unit operates at optimal efficiency, providing precisely the power required to maintain its systems, with minimal waste. This level of thermodynamic mastery implies not just advanced engineering, but a profound understanding of energy conservation and utilization. It speaks to a culture that values efficiency, precision, and perhaps a long-term perspective. Elder Cathar interjected, his voice calm but firm. Vorlek, what of the diplomatic envoy we lost, the Lumina Scout? Has there been any new data, any indication of its fate? Vorlek's manipulators paused over the projection. Elder, this is where the enigma deepens. Our long-range telemetry recently detected a faint, coded signal originating from the vicinity of the Patience. It was an incredibly sophisticated encryption, unlike anything we've encountered. Our decryption algorithms, working in concert with the Signan Enclave's cognitive processing matrices, have finally managed to break a fragment of the code. It is a message from the Lumina Scout. A ripple of anticipation mixed with fear coursed through the chamber. The Lumina Scout, presumed lost, now transmitting from near the human vessel. What does it say? Arthak demanded, his metallic claws clenching. Vorlek activated a new holographic display, showing the deciphered message scrolling in Lumina ideograms, translated into the Zalosian script. The words were simple, almost childlike in their directness, yet they carried a profound weight. No harm, they observed, they learned, they protected, we are safe. Requesting sustained dialogue, their intent is peace, their vigilance is total. The words hung in the air, transforming the atmospheric unease into something akin to stunned disbelief. No harm, protected, safe, peace, vigilance, total. The Lumina, a species known for their profound sensitivity to hostile intent, declared the humans' intent to be peace despite the immense power of their vessel. And the phrase, their vigilance is total, struck a deep chord of unexpected meaning. Protected, Velner's tendril pulsed with confusion. From what? The Lumina envoy was a scout, not a military target. What could the humans have protected them from? Vorlek adjusted the display, bringing up a new image. It was a reconstruction, based on the faint sensor echoes detected after the Lumina Scout's original disappearance. This is the anomaly. Approximately 7 cycles ago, a rogue, dark matter asteroid nearly a kilometer in diameter was detected on a collision course with the Lumina Scout's trajectory. Our systems flagged it as a minor threat, likely to pass within acceptable parameters. However, the humans. Their data suggests they intercepted it. The projected image showed a faint, almost invisible energy beam emanating from the Patience, striking the rogue asteroid. The asteroid didn't explode. Instead, it was slowly, meticulously nudged off course, its trajectory altered by a fraction of a degree, just enough to ensure it passed harmlessly by the Lumina Scout. The beam itself was not destructive. It was a pure, focused kinetic application, a demonstration of precise, almost surgical power. They didn't destroy it, Xylos observed, his light field brightening with intellectual curiosity. They merely redirected it, with an energy output so precise, so controlled, that our conventional sensors barely registered it as anything more than ambient interference. This is an application of power that is profoundly different from what we understand. It is not about overwhelming force, but about subtle, effective control. Arthak was silent for a long moment, an unfamiliar posture for the Drakash warrior. They utilized their primary weapon to push an asteroid, to protect a scout vessel, an unknown entity, from a minor cosmic hazard. This is not the behavior of an aggressor. This is the behavior of a guardian. The words seemed to stick in his metallic vocalizer, alien to his species' martial philosophy. Elder Cathar looked from the holographic Patience, now seemingly less menacing, to the deciphered Lumina message. Their vigilance is total. It appears they were not merely observing us, delegates. They were observing the environment. They were assessing threats, not from us, but to us. Their vessel, the Patience, truly is for protection, as they claimed. But the scope of that protection, it seems to extend beyond themselves. The revelation was a profound shift in perspective. The coalition had projected its own fears onto the humans, assuming their advanced technology implied aggression. But the humans, with their colossal, silent warship, were not poised for invasion. They were, it seemed, poised for guardianship. They had displayed a level of ethical conduct, a proactive form of protective vigilance that was utterly unexpected. We must establish direct, sustained communication, Velner declared, his tendril now glowing with a vibrant, urgent light. The Lumina's message, combined with this revelation, necessitates immediate and comprehensive diplomatic engagement. We must understand the breadth of their intentions, the nature of their total vigilance. What threats do they perceive that we do not? What does their restraint truly entail? Elder Cathar nodded slowly, his ocular stalks fixed on the image of the patients. Indeed, Ambassador, the Lumina Scout has, in essence, provided us with a direct conduit. We shall initiate a full-spectrum diplomatic contact directly with the humans, and this time we will send more than a scout. We will send our most esteemed diplomatic delegation, escorted by a limited, unarmed honor guard. The time for fearful speculation is over. The time for understanding has begun. The air in the Zalosian High Senate was no longer heavy with anxiety, but with a burgeoning sense of wonder and a deep intellectual curiosity. The ultimate human warship, once an object of terror, was now an object of profound fascination, a testament to a species whose true power lay not in its capacity for destruction, but in its capacity for unexpected, proactive protection and unwavering patience. The galaxy, it seemed, had just encountered a new kind of sentinel. The diplomatic mission was unlike any in the recorded history of the Coalition. It was not merely an exchange of pleasantries or a negotiation of territorial boundaries. It was an expedition into the unknown, a journey to unravel the enigma of humanity, personified by their silent, colossal vessel, the Patience. The Zalosian diplomatic cruiser, the Harmonic Consensus, gleamed in the inky blackness, flanked by a ceremonial escort of Virel and Drakash on her craft, their weapons inert, their shields lowered to the bare minimum. Elder Cathar led the delegation, accompanied by Velner, K. Arthak, and Xylos, a testament to the gravity of the encounter. As the Harmonic Consensus approached the Patience, the sheer scale of the human vessel became even more overwhelming. It did not merely appear large in the holographic projections. In real space, it was an artificial moon, a dark, silent leviathan that dwarfed the entire Coalition fleet. Its polished obsidian hull seemed to absorb the light of distant stars, rendering it a void within the void. There were no flashing lights, no discernible exhaust plumes, no hum of active systems. It was a monument to stillness. A single, faint energy signature emanated from the Patience as the Harmonic Consensus entered its designated approach vector. It was not a weapon lock, nor a defensive posture. It was an invitation, a precise targeting beam guiding them to a cavernous, subtly illuminated hangar bay that had seamlessly materialized within the ship's hull. The entrance was vast, large enough to swallow the Harmonic Consensus whole. Inside the hangar, the air was cool and crisp, circulating with an imperceptible flow. The internal surfaces were polished, unadorned, reflecting the ambient light with a soft, diffused glow. No aggressive warnings, no intimidating displays, just an environment of quiet efficiency. Waiting for them on a raised platform at the center of the bay were three figures, humans. They were bipedal with an upright posture, covered in fitted dark uniforms that bore no insignia. Their skin tones varied, their facial features diverse, yet they exuded a collective aura of calm competence. Their eyes, deep and assessing, met those of the approaching delegation without fear or aggression. One of them, a male with short, graying hair and an intense gaze, stepped forward. He was introduced, through the universal translator, as Captain Aris Thorn, commander of the Patience. "Welcome, representatives of the Coalition of Sentient Worlds." Captain Thorn's voice was deep, resonant, and devoid of any overt emotion, yet imbued with an underlying strength. "We are pleased you have chosen to engage in dialogue. We apologize for any apprehension our presence may have caused." Elder Cathar extended a respectful greeting. "Captain Thorn, the Coalition thanks you for your welcome. Your presence at the edge of the veil has indeed prompted considerable discussion and some concern. The nature of your vessel, the Patience, is unlike anything we have encountered." Thorn inclined his head slightly. "We understand. Humanity is a young species by galactic standards. Our technology has advanced rapidly, driven by necessity. The Patience is a reflection of that necessity. Please follow me. Our meeting chambers await." The walk through the Patience was an experience in itself. The corridors were wide, meticulously maintained, yet devoid of tea. Elaborate displays and complex interfaces common to Coalition vessels. The walls were smooth, a seamless dark composite material. There were no visible power conduits, no exposed circuitry. Everything was integrated, hidden, functional. The ship hummed with a low, barely perceptible energy, a living entity contained within its vast shell. They were led to a spacious chamber where a large, polished table occupied the center. Around it, comfortable, ergonomic seating awaited. The lighting in the chamber shifted subtly, adjusting to the visual spectrums of each delegate. It was a small, thoughtful gesture that spoke volumes. "Please be seated," Thorne indicated. Once everyone was settled, he continued, his gaze sweeping over the alien representatives. "We are aware of the Lumina Scouts' message. We are pleased they found our intervention satisfactory. Their vessel was indeed in danger. Our vigilance extends to all life within our sensor range." K. Arthak, ever direct, spoke first. "Captain Thorne, the Drakash Dominion values forthrightness. Your vessel possesses immense destructive potential. Our initial assessment, based on the sheer scale of its primary weapon, was that it was designed for war, for conquest. Yet you claim its purpose is protection, its ultimate capability restraint. This paradox is difficult to reconcile." Thorne met K. Arthak's gaze without flinching. "Ambassador K. Arthak, the capacity for destruction does not inherently dictate the intent of destruction. Humanity understands the nature of conflict intimately. Our history is replete with it. We have learned through bitter experience that true strength lies not in the ability to annihilate, but in the ability to preserve. The patience is an embodiment of that hard-won lesson." "How so?" Vellner inquired, his tendrils swaying thoughtfully. "Such power, contained and restrained, is a concept alien to many species who view military might as a tool for projection of will." Thorne gestured to the vast, almost invisible primary cannon that formed the forward section of the Patience. "This weapon, as you refer to it, is not solely designed for offensive combat. Its core function is energy manipulation at a colossal scale. We used it to gently nudge an asteroid away from the Lumina Scout. We could also use it to generate localized gravitational fields to deflect incoming projectiles, to stabilize unstable stellar phenomena, or even to accelerate the growth of nascent star systems if a civilization required such assistance. Its destructive capacity is merely one facet of its potential, a last resort against truly existential threats." Xylos's light field pulsed with newfound understanding. "You speak of fundamental physics manipulation, Captain, the ability to apply energy with such precision across such a spectrum of effects. This is extraordinary. Your singularity containment unit, your material sciences, they are not merely for defense or offense, but for the proactive shaping of environments, for advanced terraforming, for cosmic engineering." Thorne nodded. "Precisely, Ambassador Xylos. Humanity in its long journey came to understand that the greatest threats are often not from other sentient species, but from the indifferent universe itself. Rogue asteroids, collapsing stars, galactic radiation bursts, localized space-time anomalies. We developed the patience not to fight wars against others, but to fight against the chaos of the cosmos, to protect our own, and by extension, to offer that protection to any who require it." Elder Cathar leaned forward, a profound realization dawning. "Then your total vigilance is a constant watch not for aggression, but for all forms of universal dangers. And your restraint is the deliberate choice to apply this immense power constructively, rather than destructively." "Indeed, Elder Cathar," Thorne confirmed. "We have observed your coalition for some time. We detected the emerging threats to your nascent stellar empires. The unstable gas giant in the Signan Enclave, the localized temporal distortions impacting VREL navigation, the encroaching dark energy anomalies near the Drakash territories. We have cataloged these. We did not intervene without invitation, but we stood ready. Our mission, our patience, is to be an anchor in the storm, a safeguard against the indifferent void." K. Arthak's metallic voice was softer now, tinged with a complex mix of respect and awe. "You would extend such protection to strangers, to species you know little of." Thorne's gaze held a deep, quiet sincerity. "Ambassador, in the vastness of the cosmos, all sentient life is, in a profound sense, connected. The loss of one civilization, even one unknown to us, is a loss for the entire tapestry of existence. We learned long ago that true security lies not in isolation, but in collective survival. If we possess the means to avert a catastrophe, we have a moral imperative to do so." The revelation was a seismic shift in understanding. The humans were not conquerors or aggressors. They were guardians. Their ultimate warship was, in essence, an ultimate life preserver, a cosmic shepherd designed to protect and preserve. The fears and suspicions of the coalition, born of millennia of interspecies conflict, melted away in the face of this unforeseen benevolence. Elder Cathar rose, his ocular stalks gleaming with a new, vibrant light. Captain Thorne humanity, through its profound and unexpected demonstration of ethical responsibility, has unveiled a new paradigm for interspecies relations. The coalition of sentient worlds extends its deepest gratitude for your vigilance and requests with sincere humility to learn from your wisdom. We seek not only your protection, but your guidance. What dangers do you perceive that we do not? And how might we, too, contribute to this universal guardianship? Captain Thorne offered a faint, almost imperceptible smile, the first sign of overt emotion he had shown. Elder Cathar, the universe is vast and its threats are myriad, but so too are its wonders and its opportunities. Humanity does not seek to impose its will, but to share its knowledge, its technology, and its perspective. We believe that united, sentient life can face any challenge, overcome any obstacle. We believe that true strength lies not in isolated power, but in shared purpose. He paused, his gaze fixed on the holographic projection of the deep void beyond the Patience's hull, a void that held untold mysteries. There is a reason we emerged from the uncharted veil, a reason we extended our vigilance beyond our home system. We detected something, a faint signal, ancient beyond comprehension, emanating from the deepest reaches of the galactic core. A pattern of energy, meticulously crafted, that speaks of a civilization that transcended its physical form, a message from the very dawn of galactic sentience. It is a whisper of an older, grander cosmos, a cosmos that holds both profound wonders and potentially even greater threats than the chaotic indifference of space. And we believe it is a message meant for all who can hear it. The chamber fell silent, not with fear, but with a profound sense of awe. A message from the galactic core, from an ancient, transcendent civilization. The scope of the future had just expanded beyond anything the Coalition had ever dared to imagine. The ultimate human warship, the Patience, was not merely a guardian against cosmic accidents, but a key, a silent guide to a future that promised unity, exploration, and the unveiling of secrets that had lain dormant since time immemorial. The journey of understanding had just begun, and it promised to reshape the very destiny of all sentient life. The initial awe lingered, a pervasive hum within the collective consciousness of the Coalition. The revelation of the Patience's true purpose, and Captain Thorne's disclosure of the ancient signal, had irrevocably altered their perception of humanity and their place in the cosmos. The diplomatic mission, initially fraught with suspicion, had transformed into a continuous, multi-species dialogue within the vast, tranquil chambers of the Patience. Elder Cathar, Velner, Arthak, and Xylos remained aboard, immersing themselves in understanding the human philosophy of proactive protection and their unique technological advancements. One cycle, Captain Thorne escorted the delegates to a monitoring station deep within the Patience. The chamber was spherical, its interior a seamless projection of the galactic core, vibrant with nebulae, swirling gas clouds, and the concentrated brilliance of billions of stars. It was breathtaking. At the very center of the projected core, a faint, rhythmic pulse of energy was highlighted, a pattern almost imperceptible without the Patience's sophisticated filters. "This is it," Thorne stated, his voice calm, yet imbued with a subtle reverence. "The signal. We first detected it through subtle gravitational wave distortions that defied explanation. Our advanced deep space observatories, tuned to quantum fluctuations beyond the conventional M spectrum, finally resolved this distinct energy signature. It's not a broadcast in the traditional sense. It's a modulated entanglement field, a form of quantum communication that transcends the limitations of light speed." Xylos's light field pulsed with excitement. Quantum entanglement communication? Our theoretical physicists have postulated its existence, but the energy requirements, the precision necessary to maintain coherence across such vast distances, it is staggering. This implies a civilization that has mastered the fundamental fabric of reality itself. "Indeed," Thorne affirmed, "the message itself is not a simple linguistic transfer. It's a complex data stream, a vast repository of information encoded within the very structure of the entanglement patterns. Our AI, working in tandem with our brightest minds, has been attempting to decipher it for decades. We've only managed to unlock fragments, but what we have found is profound." He gestured, and the holographic projection shifted, focusing on a single, isolated sequence of the signal. It resolved into a shimmering, multi-dimensional geometric pattern, continuously evolving, fractal in its complexity. "This particular sequence," Thorne explained, "appears to be a schematic, a design for something vast, something monumental. It implies a structure, an architecture on a cosmic scale, capable of interacting with stellar energies in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. K. Arthak, who had remained mostly silent throughout the technical discussions, interjected. A schematic for what, Captain? A weapon? A new form of propulsion? His species' martial background instinctively sought parallels. Thorne paused, his gaze distant, as if seeing beyond the holographic projection. Neither, Ambassador. From what we can discern, it is a design for a galactic preservation array, a network of interconnected megastructures designed to stabilize stellar nurseries, to prevent supernovas from impacting nascent life-bearing planets, to subtly guide the evolution of habitable zones. A colossal effort of cosmic gardening spread across an entire galaxy. The words hung in the air, a revelation that dwarfed all previous understanding. A galactic preservation array. It was a concept so utterly grand, so benevolent in its intent, that it challenged the very foundations of their species' individual histories, which were often marked by conflict over mere planets or star systems. Such an undertaking, Elder Cathar murmured, his ocular stalks wide with wonder. It speaks of a species that transcended its own internal conflicts, its own planetary concerns, and embraced a responsibility for the entire galactic ecosystem. A truly enlightened civilization. They are referred to in the deciphered fragments as the Architects of Harmony, Thorne revealed. They apparently reached a stage of technological and ethical evolution where the preservation and nurturing of life, in all its forms, became their singular driving purpose. They built this array not for their own benefit, but for the benefit of all potential future life. And the signal, it appears to be an invitation. An invitation to understand their work, to contribute to it, and perhaps to continue it. Vellner's tendril pulsed with excitement. An invitation to stewardship? This is not merely an act of communication, Captain, but an act of profound trust. They are offering to share their wisdom, their technology, their purpose, with whomever is capable of receiving it. And what of threats, Captain? K. Arthak pressed, unable to fully shed his strategic mindset. If this array is for preservation, does the signal also speak of dangers it was designed to mitigate? Are there forces that oppose this harmony? Thorne's expression grew serious. Ambassador K. Arthak, the signal does contain warnings, not of conventional adversaries, but of something far more insidious. A form of cosmic entropy, an accelerating decay in the fundamental fabric of spacetime. They describe it as the Great Unraveling, a slow, creeping degradation that, if unchecked, will eventually render the galaxy inhospitable to all complex life. The Architects of Harmony built their array to counteract this, to literally weave stability back into the cosmos. A collective shiver ran through the delegates. A threat on such a scale was beyond their comprehension, beyond their military capabilities. It dwarfed all their internal squabbles, all their species, individual histories of conflict. And the patience? Elder Cathar inquired, his voice barely a whisper. Is your vessel in some way connected to this great unraveling? Is this why you patrol the Veil, guarding against unforeseen threats? Thorne nodded slowly. Our long-range quantum sensors, the very ones that detected the Architect's signal, also detected faint, localized accelerations of this entropic decay. Anomalies, rifts. Sometimes they manifest as rogue dark matter constructs, sometimes as localized temporal distortions, sometimes as an energy drain on stellar systems. They are the symptoms of the great unraveling. The patience was designed with a dual purpose, to seek out the Architect's signal and to mitigate these localized entropic manifestations wherever we encounter them. It is why our weapon systems can also stabilize, can repair, can redirect. It is why our restraint is paramount. To simply destroy such manifestations would be to treat the symptom, not the cause. We must understand them and, where possible, undo them. The delegates looked at the holographic projection of the galactic core, no longer seeing just beauty, but sensing the hidden, subtle threat that lay beneath its luminous surface. The humans, with their unassuming demeanor and their silent, colossal ship, had not offered protection. They had revealed a cosmic truth, a challenge that transcended all species and encompassed the very fate of the galaxy. This knowledge, it is immense, Vellner articulated, his tendril now radiating a profound sense of shared responsibility. It demands a unity of purpose, a collaboration of all sentient life, to even begin to comprehend, let alone address. The coalition, we are but fledgling civilizations in the face of such a cosmic imperative. Fledgling, perhaps, Ambassador, Thorne responded, his voice gentle but firm, but capable. The architects of harmony did not build their array alone. Their signal contains evidence of a vast, multi-species collaboration, a federation of minds working towards a common goal. They did not exclude based on origin or level of development, but invited all who possess the will to contribute. Humanity believes in that same principle. He paused, his gaze sweeping over the delegates, a silent invitation in his eyes. The patience stands ready, not as a weapon of war, but as a vessel of discovery, of protection, and of unity. We have spent decades preparing for this moment, for the potential to share this burden, this magnificent purpose. Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to contribute? Are you willing to face the true challenges of the cosmos, not in isolation, but as a unified force of sentient life? Elder Cathar stepped forward, his form radiating dignity and resolve. Captain Thorne, humanity has shown us a path we had not dared to envision. You have transcended the petty conflicts that have plagued our own histories and offered us a vision of shared responsibility, of cosmic stewardship. The coalition of sentient worlds stands with you. We will lend our minds, our resources, our very existence to this endeavor. We will learn from the architects of harmony, and we will contribute to the great preservation. The ultimate human warship is not a symbol of fear, but a beacon of hope, leading us to a destiny far grander than we ever imagined. A profound sense of purpose filled the chamber. The fear of humanity had evaporated, replaced by an unwavering respect, a deep alliance forged in the crucible of shared cosmic responsibility. The patience, once an object of terror, now pulsed with the quiet, determined energy of a species ready to shoulder a galactic burden and to invite others to join them. The journey towards understanding the architects and confronting the great unraveling had truly begun. Cycles blurred into a harmonious tapestry of collaboration. The Patience became the central hub for the burgeoning Galactic Alliance, a floating academy and research facility where the best minds of the coalition converged with human scientists and engineers. Elder Cathar, Velner, K. Arthak, and Xylos, along with countless other delegates, immersed themselves in the study of the architects of harmony's signal, a vast cosmic symphony of data that slowly yielded its secrets. The ship, once perceived as a monolithic weapon, now revealed its true internal nature. Laboratories pulsed with experimental energy, quantum simulators hummed with complex calculations, and vast data libraries exchanged information across secured networks. Captain Thorne, with his quiet competence, oversaw the integration of coalition species into humanity's deep space protocols and the nuances of interpreting the architect's data. The process was slow, painstaking, requiring immense patience from all parties. Humans, with their unique cognitive processes and their long history of problem-solving, brought a fresh perspective to many of the challenges. Their capacity for adaptive thinking, for finding elegant solutions to seemingly intractable problems, quickly earned the respect of the more established species. One particular challenge involved the stabilization of a minor temporal rift that had opened near a remote Xylosian research outpost, a direct manifestation of the great unraveling. The rift threatened to swallow the outpost and disrupt the delicate space-time continuum of the region. Coalition scientists had struggled to devise a solution, their established methods proving insufficient against the localized quantum instability. It was a young human engineer, specialist Lena Petrova, who proposed a radical yet elegantly simple approach. Instead of attempting to bombard the rift with raw energy, which only exacerbated its instability, she suggested a highly precise, low-energy counter-frequency emitted in a specific harmonic pattern. The concept, derived from obscure human theoretical physics regarding wave cancellation at a sub-quantum level, was met with initial skepticism by the Xylosian experts. The energy output is too low, Specialist Petrova, a Xylosian scientist argued, his multi-jointed manipulators gesturing emphatically. The rift's energy signature is orders of magnitude greater. Your proposed solution would be akin to using a sing. The luminous spark to douse a stellar flare. Lena Petrova, unflustered, calmly presented her simulations. The objective is not to overpower the rift, but to harmonize with its inherent frequency, to introduce a resonant counterwave that destabilizes its structural integrity from within. Think of it not as brute force, but as precision surgery on spacetime itself. The Patience's primary energy manipulator, when tuned to these specific parameters, can generate the required harmonic frequency with absolute stability and control. Elder Cathar, having observed human methods for many cycles, advocated for Petrova's approach. Let us trust in their ingenuity. Humanity has demonstrated a capacity for unconventional thinking that has often yielded unforeseen success. The patience was designed for restraint and precision. Let us see that capability demonstrated. The operation was meticulously planned. The patience positioned itself above the temporal rift, its colossal form dwarfing the Zalosian outpost below. Captain Thorne oversaw the process from the bridge, his calm demeanor radiating confidence. Lena Petrova, alongside a team of Zalosian and Signan specialists, monitored the energy output. The primary cannon of the Patience glowed with a faint, almost invisible light, humming with a frequency that was barely detectable to the naked eye. A single needle-thin beam of energy, precise beyond anything the Coalition had ever witnessed, lanced down towards the roiling temporal rift. It did not explode. It did not flare. Instead, the chaotic energies of the rift began to calm. The shimmering distortions slowly contracted, its boundaries tightening, its erratic pulsations smoothing out. Within minutes, the rift shrunk to a pinpoint, then vanished altogether, leaving behind only the undisturbed spacetime. A collective gasp of awe echoed through the observation decks. The Zalosian scientists, who had initially been skeptical, were now furiously analyzing their data, their multi-jointed manipulators flying across their interfaces. The elegant simplicity of the solution, coupled with the profound precision of the Patience's technology, was a testament to human engineering and their philosophical approach to cosmic problems. Incredible, Xylos articulated, his light field vibrant with intellectual exhilaration. Such mastery of quantum mechanics applied with such profound restraint. It is a testament to the architect's legacy and humanity's capacity to embody it. K.R. Thack, ever pragmatic, now spoke with newfound respect. The Drakash Dominion recognizes the profound utility of such a vessel, Captain Thorne, not as a weapon of war, but as a scalpel against the unraveling cosmos. Our tactical understanding is undergoing a fundamental reevaluation. This success solidified the alliance, transforming it from a cautious collaboration into a unified front against the great unraveling. The architect's signal continued to yield more data, revealing not only schematics for galactic preservation arrays, but also the history of their own journey, their triumphs, and their existential struggles against the entropic decay. It became clear that the architects had not simply built their array and vanished. They had sought to transcend their physical forms, to become part of the very fabric of the cosmos, to be the living guardians of harmony. Then came the new twist. One cycle, as human and coalition scientists analyzed a newly deciphered layer of the architect's signal, a specific quantum entanglement pattern pulsed with an unprecedented intensity. It was not a message about preservation arrays, nor about the great unraveling. It was a direct, coherent communication, unlike any they had received before, radiating from beyond the galactic core, from a region of space previously believed to be empty void. The signal was decoded rapidly by the Patience's advanced AI, its computational power now augmented by the collective processing capabilities of the Coalition. The message was not in the architect's complex data streams, but in a universal mathematical language, instantly comprehensible to all advanced species. A holographic projection shimmered in the central chamber, displaying the decoded message. It was a single, immense symbol, a geometric construct of impossible complexity, pulsating with a soft, inviting light. Below it, universal mathematical characters translated into a single, profound statement. We are the continuum. We heard your answer. You are not alone. The veil is thinning. Join us beyond the edge. The chamber fell into stunned silence. The continuum, the veil, the edge. These were concepts entirely new, entirely unexpected. They had assumed the architects of harmony were the pinnacle, the ancient source of wisdom. But this message implied something even older, something beyond the architects, beyond their own galaxy. Captain Thorne, who had remained impassive throughout many discoveries, now showed a flicker of profound emotion in his eyes. Beyond the edge, we have always theorized about other galaxies, about the possibility of life beyond our own. The veil, it is what we call the energetic barrier surrounding our galaxy, a cosmic phenomenon that has defied all attempts at penetration, shielding us from the vastness beyond. This message implies it is not a barrier but a membrane, and it is thinning. Elder Cathar, his form trembling slightly with the immensity of the revelation, looked at Captain Thorne. Captain, what does this mean? The architects of harmony, their preservation array, the great unraveling, Are these all part of a larger cosmic tapestry we have yet to glimpse? Thorne's gaze was fixed on the pulsating holographic symbol. It means, Elder, that the universe is far vaster, far more interconnected than we ever dared to imagine. The architects of harmony built their array not just for our galaxy, but perhaps as a beacon, a signal to this continuum, that life here was worthy of joining a greater cosmic community. And the great unraveling. Perhaps it is not merely local entropy, but a symptom of a larger intergalactic phenomenon, a cosmic disease that affects many galaxies, and the architects' array was their way of tending to their garden. He turned to face the assembled delegates, his voice filled with a quiet, profound conviction. Humanity and now the Coalition have demonstrated our capacity for unity, for guardianship, for perseverance in the face of cosmic challenges. We have faced our fears, understood our true strengths, and chosen a path of shared purpose. Now it seems we are being called to a greater stage. The ultimate human warship, the Patience, has led us to this moment. It was designed to protect, to learn, and to endure. And now it must lead us beyond the familiar into the truly unknown. A profound sense of shared destiny settled upon the chamber. The fear that had once defined their first encounters with humanity had been utterly transformed. The Patience, once a terrifying enigma, was now a vessel of hope, a gateway to an unimaginable future. The galactic community, once isolated and prone to internal strife, was now unified, facing a cosmic frontier that stretched beyond their wildest dreams. The journey had been arduous, fraught with misunderstanding and suspicion, but the patience of humanity, their quiet strength, and their unwavering ethical compass had guided them all to this new, incredible dawn. The universe, it seemed, was only just beginning to reveal its true, wondrous scope, and humanity, with their colossal, silent protector, was ready to explore it, hand in hand with their new allies. The call of the continuum from beyond the edge promised an odyssey of discovery that would redefine existence itself.